Welcome to the NJ Criminal Podcast, and the final episode in this series.
Let's switch gears for a minute. I want to ask you about some articles that I saw just in the last couple months suggesting that Jimmy Hoffa is buried in New Jersey. What's your take on that? You able to speak about that?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to guys. In fact, I talked to one of the guys I talked to was a guy named Danny Provenzano, who's the nephew of Tony Pro. Tony Provenzano supposedly involved in that hit. Danny's take is, if you kill a guy in Detroit, you're not going to put the body in the trunk of a car or a barrel and drive it 600 miles to get rid of it. You're going to get rid of it where it happened. That's just standard procedure. Other people say no, that they had this from the get-go. They had this landfill set up, and that was the intention all along. And it's the murder of Jimmy Hoffa, the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, the alleged murder of Jimmy Hoffa is one of the great American mysteries. If they find the body in that landfill, it's not going to solve the mystery. It's just going to here's where they finally got rid of him. But a Jersey landfill, it's almost God. What would you say? I mean, you can't make it up any better.
A lot of the stuff you can't make up, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, you can't make it up any better than that. For a long time, he's buried under Giant Stadium.
Right.
I think the conventional wisdom is he was killed after that aborted meeting outside of Detroit, killed, and his body was cremated, and we're never going to find any trace. That was the conventional wisdom. And that would have been the smart way. The other thing is there was that movie, The Irishman, and
right. That's what I was going to say. It has a it would totally put a hole in that movie.
Yeah, I mean Frank Sheeran. I don't know, but
yeah.
Frank Sheeran told a lot of stories, and the latter part of his life, I talked to him once or twice. He was totally incoherent. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how anybody was able to write a book based on, Sheeran's account of what happened. Although. Again, this is something that, originally Sheeran pitched a book project where he wasn't the shooter and he got no bite. Then he pitched a project that he was the shooter and he got a book deal.
And a movie.
And a movie by Scorsese. And I like my movies. I co-authored a book about the greatest gangster movies. And The Irishman, if that was Scorsese's first movie, it wouldn't have got the attention that it got. But because it was like, we're going to get the band back together, Pesci and De Niro. And I think it was better received than it ought to have been. It wasn't as good as some other Scorsese movies, but it benefited from what came before it.
Well, let me ask you then, what's your favorite mob movie?
It's an interesting question. The best mob movies are, I think, Godfather 1 and 2 and Goodfellas. My favorite mob movies are The Pope of Greenwich Village and The Friends of Eddie Coyle.
Classic.
You haven't heard?
Yeah, classic.
You know anything about it?
Yeah, classic.
I mean,
why are they your favorites?
Because I think they're more stories from the street level, and it's guys just trying to make it and guys struggling, and it's what the life is really about. It's survival.
Yeah.
So.
What story has not been made into a movie or that you think would be a good one?
Oh, please, if Hollywood was listening. I'm waiting for somebody to do a movie based on one of my books. I think the whole Scarfo, Merlino, Stanfa era is a fact. If that had happened in New York, it already would be a movie.
Right.
The dynamics of what went on during that period, it would have been made. Hollywood would have jumped on it. Hollywood only knows New York, Chicago, and because of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, they know Boston now in terms of the mob stuff. Mm-hmm. But nobody's taking a serious look at Philadelphia, and I think it's a rich. The stories are great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the mob, at least in terms of Philly, South Jersey, is pretty much done now. Would you agree with that?
Well, I mean, it exists, but it's it's not dominant. I don't think it controls very much. And a lot of the guys are, just struggling to survive. So, and, there are probably guys out there that we don't even know about that are making some serious money if he's got a good book, if he's got some shark money on the street. Those guys we don't know about. But yeah, the mob as it's identified in Philadelphia, the Mafia Cosa Nostra, is only a shell of what it was, even in the Bruno era. It's just, and it's never going to come back, for all the reasons we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, RICO, electronic surveillance, second and third generation, all of those things. So, you know, if you're a young reporter looking to write about, you know, what are you going to write about now? I think you look to Russian organized crime, Asian organized crime, the black drug underworld, horde of terrorists. I mean, that's the big stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Cosa Nostra anymore.
Are you working on any projects right now?
I got a couple feelers out. I do a column for a Jersey Man magazine that try to keep updating on what's going on with organized crime. I got a couple guys talking to me about maybe doing something about the black drug underworld in Philadelphia, which is another rich story. But no, I got nothing specific on the table right now. I'm just hoping to enjoy the summer, take it easy.
I don't blame you. And I should say also that you are an adjunct professor at Rowan University, teaching a course in organized crime, which I'm sure is packed every semester.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it fills up. It's a lot of fun. It's good.
Excellent, excellent. Well, listen, George, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me about the Philly mob and all things mafia related in Philadelphia and South Jersey. It's really a pleasure. I love hearing the stories. It's like you said before, you can't make this stuff up.
We hope you've enjoyed this series. Don't forget to subscribe, because before you know it, we'll be back with another great conversation.